Hello, friends and neighbors. I received a recommendation from our friends at some of the regulatory agencies that we do a reminder for you all about the different settings on these units and just being cautious about the ionization, the production of ozone. You know, we had been telling you all in the videos, be careful with the settings, especially if you have asthma and COPD. With these settings. And again, just a nice, gentle reminder to each of you to please watch the settings you use on these units. Now, in all of the distributions we've done, these three units are primarily the ones that we distributed. Early on, we used the Green Tech Pure Air units here. So some of you who received them may have gotten this. A little later, we went with the Aris Pure and Clean units, which have turned out to be wonderful, wonderful units. And then Aris, again, being so kind to donate to the community, used, again, these are Aris units with the Velar branding on it. These are a little different. These are the Velar Air and Surface Pro Plus units, and they have a few extra settings. Now, again, each of these units are wonderful. They can help take the edge off some of the odors and VOCs. However, you do need to exercise caution in regard to the aggressive settings on these units because they can produce a lot of ozone, and that's not good for you. So I'm going to go unit by unit and make sure that you are using the right setting at the right time. Let's start with the Pure Air from Green Tech. Now, when you first turn it on, you'll all notice it lights up and it's green. That's great. We have no problem with that. Very happy. Now, one thing you can do is you can get a little more aggressive by pressing this button down here. Wait a minute, this button here, and it turns blue. And that has ionization going on with it. And again, you will smell a little bit of it, but it's not super aggressive. However, there is another setting on this unit that will then turn it red. As we told everyone who got one of these units, and we're reminding you again, do not be in the room, do not have pets in the room, kids, anyone in the room when this is running red. This is, for lack of better word, the Firebomb mode that will absolutely, in the span, and it will only run for a maximum of 30 minutes. It will absolutely, just decimate VOCs out of the air and make them cling and drop down cling to fabrics and things like that. But again, high ozone content created by this setting. Do not be in the room with it, and you will smell ozone when you walk in after it's done. So be careful with this. Ideally, you will just run this on green. And if you are getting some light smells or what have you, like in my office, I have one of these. I run this on the blue setting if I'm smelling some and it's okay. And if it's really bad, I'll run it on red, but I will leave the room and not show up for 30 minutes and make sure that we air the office a little bit after I'm done with that. So that's the Green Tech unit. The Aris Pure and Clean, when you first turn it on, it'll look like this, and it does have an ionization setting, as you can see right there. As we've instructed everyone, you'll turn the fan all the way up, and you have the option of engaging the various filters, the UV settings, and more aggressive ionization by using Air Plus or Air Pure, and then Air Pure ×2. Now, as we've warned everybody, and we're warning again, if you have asthma or COPD, you do not want to run these more aggressive settings with this unit because it can aggravate it because it does produce ozone. But this Pure and Clean unit is not as aggressive as the Velar, which we'll get to in a second. Play with the A Pure settings until you find a setting that works for you. And honestly, you may not want to run it at A Pure ×2 for too long. But again, the ionization or the ozone that's created even by these units is not as bad as the next one, potentially. Now we're on to the Velar units. Again, very much like the Aris, you can see they look very similar to the Aris unit. because it is an Eris. When you turn this one on, this has a whole lot more settings. All right, so it'll come on, cell ionization's on. You turn that fan up, and its default is A pure. All right, so it's gonna produce a little bit of ozone. All right, but if you go up to the A pure ×2, and you'll notice here, if I can get it to cooperate with me, you get that square footage setting, you're gonna start smelling the ozone that will produce, and especially if you go up to its most aggressive setting of 3,000 square feet. Let me do that again on camera. If you go all the way up to the 3,000 square feet, it is really aggressive, and you will immediately start to smell the ozone that unit can begin to produce. And you don't want to run it at super high settings and have people in the room. You know, again, it will aggravate, especially if you have asthma or COPD. There's one other thing to say about this unit that I did not cover in a previous video, but it is covered in the the owner's manual. There's a setting here, depart room. If I can get that to engage, in like 2 hours, I'm gonna go to the grocery store and it stinks in my house and I'm gonna be gone for 2 hours. Well, when you engage that setting, that is, and it has a variety of hours that you can do, that's super aggressive. And you do not want to be in the room, in the house, or pets or kids with that depart room setting on, because it's going to get really aggressive. It's much like this unit in terms of firebombing, like in terms of ozone production. You do not want people in the home when it's running that way. I think I was talking with a friend the other day who had checked with the Eris and Velar. When it's on this most aggressive setting, the depart room setting, the firebomb setting, it can produce like 2 parts per million ozone. You need to be very careful. To that point, I hope everybody kept their owner's manuals. All right, this right here is the owner's manual for the Eris Pure and Clean, and this is the owner's manual for the Velar. Please note on the Velar, right there, number 4, to operate the depart room feature, and it takes you through that in unoccupied areas only. And unoccupied areas includes pets. You can experience adverse reaction from increased levels of ozone and should not be present during depart room mode settings. Please, please, please follow the instruction manual. Again, the Eris Pure and Clean that does not have those more aggressive depart room settings, again, not as big a concern as the Velar. You see it's not noted in the manual, but still, again, as we pointed out to you, if you find that you're aggravated a little bit by the air pure ×2, you can dial it back a little bit and it'll be okay. But please follow the owner's manual, follow the instructions I'm giving you on this video. You know, we want to protect your health. So thank you very much for your time. And I hope that you found that these units are helping you out. Bye-bye.